Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you all doing? How are you all doing? Okay, let's make it quick without delaying. So if you just join the stream, kindly give a like to the stream. Give a like to the stream. Let's do some breakdown on gold. Let's see if you are going to get an opportunity. We are going to get some setup on gold. Gold will make you feel FOMO, fear of missing out. Gold will make you feel FOMO. I swear. You watch the chart and you're asking yourself, why are you not in this trade? Why are you not in this trade? But one thing you need to understand is if it hasn't set in a way that doesn't align with your system, you just have to let it go. That's how trading goes. But gold, the movement of gold will let you feel FOMO. Sometimes I feel FOMO. I will watch the chart and trying to find an entry. Uh, it did what it did. So since it doesn't fit our system, okay, we just have to let it go. Okay, let's do some analysis. Let's do some analysis. Let's see if you are going to get an opportunity. So if you just joined the stream, please kindly click on the thumbs up button, give a like the stream so that the algorithm will recommend it. So this is what I like about gold. You get it? When it is pulling back like this, as we all know that gold will keep on moving up. Okay. As you all know that it will keep on moving up. So when it pulls back like this, it gives an opportunity. When it pulls back, but first of all, let's check out the economic calendar and see what's happening. US government data may be impacted by the shutdown. So economic shutdown. Yeah, so today is Tuesday, so there was no economic data. You get it? There was no economic data. There was no high impact news rather. So those who are confused on what I'm seeing on my chart, because I've filtered out, I'm only focusing on the red folders. That's why you are seeing these things. You get it? I'm only focusing on the red folders. So if you are new to this, if you are new to my chat or if you are new to my analysis, if you are new to my stream, please, if you are seeing different thing from your own, the reason is I've filtered out and I'm currently focusing on the red folders. Those are the impactful ones. So currently, when on Tuesday today, I don't have any red folder. So let's see. Let's move on to let's check out the news and see. Do you have any high impact news? So US unemployment claims rise moderately amid labor market freeze. Hmm. So there's still non. So still, if you still have unemployment rising, so the dollar keeps on becoming weak. If you have a lot of people getting unemployed, that means the dollar will keep on becoming weak. So gold will keep on rising. So that was 11 hours ago. So my forex fans hint at comeback after winning illegal battle against. Okay. So MFF, my forex fans. This is perfect. MFF is coming back. Okay, so let's move on to the analysis part. Please kindly give a like, click on the thumbs up button. So only one person has given a like. Oh, you guys don't know the like button I'm talking about. Click on the thumbs up button. And if you have any questions, too, you can drop it in the comment section. I will answer your questions. I will answer your questions. So let's analyze the chart. What am I expecting? So let me see. Jesus. So I think the market is mostly influenced by fundamentals. So when there was economic shutdown, then gold will keep on flying. The dollar keeps on becoming weak. Okay, let's analyze gold. So let's do the top-down analysis. What am I expecting today on gold? Am I going to get an opportunity on gold? Should I buy gold at any random price level and hold it? Because in long term, we all know that gold is going to move up or gold is going to rise. Is that the case? Should you buy at any random price and hold it? Because we all know that gold will keep on, but this move will make you feel FOMO. Wow, it will just make you feel FOMO. See where it started. 2023 October, and the pip value is like crazy. See, no massive correction, or you didn't see any massive pullback or any massive correction. Just climbing, 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 just climbing. But there was more to go. All right, so let's see that. Yeah, let's do top-down analysis on it. Let's see if where am I going to take a trade? Where am I which price level am I going to execute on? So I don't have any data, so the monthly is not necessary for now because this is the current market price. This is the current market price. So there's no data to our left. Moving to the weekly with the weekly time frame. With the weekly time frame, there's no data to our left. So the only data is over here. I'm not sure price is going to come to what time must I focus on as a trader. What someone is asking, what time must I focus on as a trader? What time must I focus on as a trader? Yeah, so if it's good, you focus on the lending. The most profitable sessions are the lending session. If you are in a lending session start at currently it starts at 6 a.m. Pre-lending session starts at 6 a.m. GMT. 6 a.m. GMT, and the New York session start at the pre-New York start at 11 a.m. GMT. So those are the best time you can be focusing on when it comes to the timing. Yeah, so the weekly time frame too, there was no much data on it. You don't have much data. So unless you move to the lower time frame to get more information on. So at the daily time frame, so these levels that I'm indicating on the chart are the levels that I'm going to execute. Okay, I'm going to be taking a trade on. These are the various levels that I'm going to be executing on in case price come to those levels. So let's move to the H4 time frame. So the H4 time frame is where we can get data. So this is the level I'm going to be taking trade on. That's what you need to understand. I don't buy and sell at any random price. So let me take out this one because price is not going to get to this level any moment soon. So these are the levels that I'm going to expect price. I'm expecting price to come to, then I will execute. So I'm expecting price to come to this level. I'm expecting price to come to this level. Then I will take a buy. Okay, then I'll take a buy. So let's move to the H1 time frame and see. So H1 time frame is also what kind of hovering around this side. So at this point, what I'm waiting for is if price doesn't get to this side, what I'm expecting is like what happened yesterday over here. You see this one, price just pulled back and just made a random, or it just made a random pullback at this level. So this is if price doesn't come to this level, then I'm expecting something of that sort over here. But one thing is what, when it comes to gold, I'm very patient with it because by the end of the week, I'm going to get a trade setup that aligns with my what, my system by the end of the week. Okay, if I don't get today, Wednesday I might get it. Thursday I might get it Friday. So last Friday it gave a lot of opportunities. That's what I've noticed about gold. So no matter what, I'm going to get opportunity on it every week according to from my system or from my data. It gives me opportunity. So I'm just relaxed. I'm not a beginner where I'm going to be rushing for trades when I see a move every single tick and I'm going to rush. Now I have a defined plan, I have a defined system. So I don't rush into things anymore. Okay, I have a defined system, I have a defined plan that I follow religiously. So I don't rush into things anymore. So what I'm going to be waiting for is for it to what? Maybe after this one has closed, I will get something like this. If I will get something like this, I'm very calm. I'll get something like this. Okay, I'm expecting something like this. If it forms something like this, then I'll take the continuation because it's still moving up. Everything, all the time frames indicate what, a push up. You get it. All the time frames are all indicating price is going to. They are all in uptrend. So why do I want to sell? No, there's no shift in trend at the major time frame. So why do I want to take a sell? So at this point, I'm just looking for a buy. Okay, but if we're kind of a scalper, okay, you can just wait for price is currently at the M15 time frame. Price is currently what, a downtrend. So you wait for a shift in trend, then you can go in for a buy. But what, I don't take like quick scalps. I'm just waiting for price to make a massive or a significant move to this level. Okay, this is the level that I'm waiting to take a buy. This is the proven level that has been indicated on a chart for me. So I'm waiting for price to come to this level, then I'll take a buy. Other than that, then maybe price will create a support over here. So either 9, okay, 9 a.m. GMT, okay, 9 a.m. GMT price can, the next 4 hour candle will indicate whether I'll get a trade or I'll not get a trade. So at this point, this move, I'm not bothered because this is not my candle. I'm waiting for the next H4 candle. Then around New York Stock Exchange session, that would tell or define whether I'll get a trade or I will not. So today we don't have any news event, so let's see. That's what I'm waiting for. The next H4 candle will decide if I will get a trade or I will not get a trade. Okay, I have a defined system, so I'm not rushing anything. I'm just very calm. So you see what happened on this is what I'm expecting. If I see this kind of setup, okay, or this kind of setup, this pattern, okay, or this kind of pattern, this is what I'm waiting for on the chart. So I don't just do any random things. These are the kind of things that I'm waiting for. Either price pulls back and creates this support, something of this sort, then I'll execute. Or this breakout trade that happened on last Friday, then I'll execute. So far, yesterday I didn't see any trade over here. Okay, I didn't see any move over here. I didn't see any move over here. So I'm just waiting for my pattern before I will execute. If price comes to this level, then I will execute. If price has not come this level, then I'm still observing. So you see, when you are focusing on the high time frame, it gives you the freedom. I'm not going to be glued on the chart because I know the time that all these things are going to be happening. I'm waiting for H4. So maybe I'll be watching gold again during the New York Stock Exchange session. At this point, I don't have any setup on it. Okay, according to my system, I don't have any setup on it. I don't have any setup on gold at this point. Okay, I don't have any setup on it at this point. So those who focus on the intraday patterns and those things, that's fine to them. That's fine to them. So I think at this point, this one can just continue because When you look at the H1 time frame, you see we are having trend line double this thing over here, double three touch trend line over here, 1, 2, 3 over here. Okay, so how strong? It's mostly the most important thing is how strong is this level. That's the most important thing. This is at the H1 time frame, how strong it is. How strong is this level? And the M30 time frame too has created the support over here. M30 has created the support over here. So what are you expecting? Are you expecting price to keep on moving up? This is for scalp moves. Let's see. So let's see at the M15 time frame. Yeah, so M15 time frame. We have like 7 minutes for this candle to close. But after the flip of so after the flip of this one can keep on moving up. This one can keep on moving up. Let's see. This was taken from the this was analyzed from the H1 time frame. Is it going to respect what I was saying? Okay, so let's analyze NAS 100. So with NAS 100, it's the same thing. You don't have data on the lower time frames too as well. So you see, when it comes to gold, what I did was just for those who scalp, okay, but I'm not interested in the move. I'm not interested in the move. As I'm saying, I'm waiting for price to what? Come to this level. Okay, these are the levels that I'm waiting for price to come. If price comes to this level, then I will execute. If price comes to this level, then I will execute. Or either the H4 time frame give me a support over here. Okay, either the lower time frame gives me a support over here, then I will execute. These are the things that I look for. So I'm not interested in the lower time frames like the H1 time frame trace, like what this one is showing. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in this. Let me remove it so that I'm not interested. I have my plan, I have my system. This is what mostly gives me high trace. So that's what I'm waiting for. But these are for those who scalp. So if you want to scalp, these are the things that you can look for. But I'm not interested. Yeah, so let's move to NAS 100 and see. So with NAS 100, if you look at the higher time frame, there was no trace setup, there was no there was no data to our left. It looks the same thing as gold. If you look at the weekly time frame, with the weekly time frame, these are the various levels that I'm expecting. So all these levels are the levels that I'm waiting for price to come to before we execute. Okay, these are the levels I'm waiting for price to come to before we execute. Looking at the daily time frame, I'm waiting for price to come to this level, then I will execute at this level. Looking at the H4 time frame. So with the H4 time frame, looking at our left Okay, looking at our left, I'm waiting for price to come to this level. I'm waiting for price to come to. Price is currently in a range at this point. Okay, price is currently in a range. So what am I expecting on NAS 100? What am I expecting on NAS 100? At this point, I'm waiting for price to come to this level. Then I'll be expecting a continuation. Okay, then I'll be expecting a continuation. That is what I'm expecting. So price hasn't gotten to the level yet. Okay, price hasn't gotten to the level yet. So I'm expecting price to come to the level before I will look for a buy on this one. Because the trend, as I'm saying, always check out the trend. The trend is what? An uptrend. Okay, the trend is currently an uptrend. So I'm waiting for price to come to this level. Then I'll execute. Then I will execute. Yeah, so that's what I'm expecting on NAS 100. So GBP USD at this point is ranging. Okay, looking at GBP USD, looking at GBP USD, let's move to the higher time frame. So before you analyze, you need to do your top-down analysis. Okay, so with the top-down analysis, the monthly time frame, the monthly time frame is what? An uptrend. There was this rejectional level over here. Looking at the weekly time frame, there was a rejectional level over here. And at the daily time frame, price is currently in a range over here. Price is currently in a range over here. Yeah. So with GBP USD, what I'm expecting on GBP USD is what? To wait for price to come to this level. So this is the level I'll be looking for a trade on. This is the level I'll be looking for trade on. So I'll be waiting for price to what? Come to this level. Then I'll be looking for a trade. I'll be looking for a buy over here. Yeah, so I'll be looking for price to come to this level. Then I'll look for a buy. So let's check out on gold and see what's happening. Has the H1 level been maintained? So this trend line, is it going to be respected or is it going to be rejected? I don't mostly trust the H1. If it is H4, then or the H1 levels, it mostly fails. Okay, it mostly fails. So I mostly don't analyze on those levels. Let's see how it's going to happen. So last Friday, these are the opportunities This was a perfect opportunity. Last week, it's really so you see the levels that I'm talking about is this one. Okay, these are the levels I mostly execute on at the H4 time frame, or maybe the daily, or maybe the weekly. These are the levels that I mostly execute on. So you need to have a plan. This is my plan. So these are the levels I execute on. I mostly don't play with the lower time frames like that. Like the H1. H1 is a lower time frame for me. Okay, so it's the same thing I'm expecting on this one. I'm expecting price to come to this one, or it's whether create a fresh support, then I will execute. Those are the things that I'm expecting. So today I'm expecting price to come here. I'm expecting price to come here, then I will execute. So you see the level is failing. So those who trade trend lines, trend lines. So let's analyze USD card. Where am I expecting to take a buy? Where am I expecting to take a buy or a sell on? So looking at USD card at the daily time frame. So at the daily time frame on USD card, these are the levels. At the H4 time frame, these are the levels. I'm marking up my levels. So at this point, as I said the other time, structure comes before what? Levels. So what's the trend? Okay, so structure is going to help you to know the trend of the market. Is the trend an uptrend or a downtrend? That's what's going to help me to take a buy or a sell. So is a trend an uptrend or a downtrend? Is a trend an uptrend or a downtrend? So at this point, the trend is what? Looking at the trend, let's read it together. So price just made higher high, we had higher low. So the opening has been taken. Okay, so if you turn it to a line chart, you see it very well that the opening has been taken, but it's not significant. It's not visible. Okay, it's not visible. It has been taken, but it's not visible. So this is where it created a new higher high again. Okay, it formed a new higher high again. So price just made lower low. Okay, so now lower low. So at this point, the trend is a downtrend, lower high, lower low. It made lower. It made lower lows. So again, the moment this lower high has been taken, now the trend shifted towards keep on making a downtrend. Okay, so the trend is still a downtrend at this point. So I have to be going for what? A sell, not a buy. So I have to be going for a sell, not a buy. So this is the level I'm waiting for, or I'll be looking for a trade on. Okay, these are my levels. But before that, I have to wait for the candle to close. Okay, before that, I have to wait for the candle to close. So after the closure of the candle, then I will execute. Then I will execute my trade. So I'm waiting for price to close over here. So I think all my trades are going to align during the New York Stock Exchange session. That's what I'm seeing now. Looking at this one, looking at NAS 100 too, is the same thing. GBP USD, yeah, GBP USD too is the same thing. So I think I will get a trade during the New York Stock Exchange session. Okay, yeah. So good as I'm saying, I'm waiting for a new support to be created. Then I'll look for a trade. So it looks like the internal levels are are trying to maintain, or is it going to break? Yeah, it has already started breaking. Yeah, it has already started breaking. So you see why I focus on the higher time frame and not the lower time frame. If you want to chop more losses, lower time frame are best for you. So these are lower time frames. It mostly fails and it will frustrate you, especially if you're a beginner. That's why I always recommend, if you are a beginner, start with the higher time frame. Okay, start with the higher time frame, like the H4 time frame, the daily time frame, the weekly time frame. You get it? Those are the time frames that are best for you. Lower time frames are mostly, they are easily to be invalidated when it comes to structures and levels. Okay, when it comes to structures and levels, this one H4 would have maintained. Okay, majority of the times H4 would have been, this level would have been maintained, but because it's lower time frame, yeah, so that's what I'm expecting. So I'm not seeing any opportunity at this point on gold. Okay, I'm not seeing any opportunity at this point on gold. So I'm waiting for price to come to this level. This is my level I'm waiting for price to come to before I will shoot or pull the trigger. Before I'll pull the trigger. But gold is a nice, like it's a nice instrument. If you get it, like it's a nice instrument. And with NAS 100 too, it's a nice instrument. So let me show you one thing, what I'm expecting. So you see what happened yesterday on NAS 100. There was a nice, but mostly Mondays I don't execute trades, so I was just watching. So this is what I'm mostly expecting on. Let me, where did it even happen? Yeah, at this point. So these are the kind of things I'm expecting. So on NAS 100 yesterday, so my rule says I shouldn't execute. So let me show you to you what happened. There was a nice setup on it. Lower volume, made price, made for back and forth. And one thing I've observed about NAS 100 last week too, it did the same thing. On Mondays, it did the same thing. I don't know what's happening. So you see, there was a break. This is what I'm expecting. There was a break over here. So there was a break out from this level. Price broke out from this level. You get it? What are you expecting? But one tricky part about this thing is what, as price has broken this one, we don't have data to our left. So mostly it becomes very difficult to know your target. So what you are going to use for your target is maybe this wick fill. Okay, this wick fill. When you are in a trade where there's no data to your left to be used as what, a gauge, or to be used as where you are going to what, exit from the trade, it become very difficult and it become very tricky. Okay, it become very tricky. So at this point, as the candle has broken above this one, so the entry would have been taken over here. You see how perfect price touch. So you see the touch that I'm talking about, how perfect price at the 50-minute time frame. Price came and touched exact, and the same thing I will show it to you. The same thing happened on the other time on gold. So this was the first entry on NAS 100 yesterday. You get it? So you place your stop loss below the candle, and price never moved like as you're expecting to fill this week. Okay, to fill this week. So price just made the first move and what, it started retracing. But the same thing happened. I will show it to you on last Friday what happened. And price just made a pullback and just came back again. It just came into the level. By the time that it came, price has already what, like the timing was very bad. So price pulled back again and gave another opportunity to the level. You get it? So this is where another opportunity was given, because price has broken out from the zone, pulled back on this level. So this is where the second entry was taken. The second entry would have been taken. So you see, nice one. So it just filled the wick. You see, price filled the wick exactly. You get it? The wick got filled exactly. So this thing that I was talking about is the same thing that happened on gold on last Friday. You get it? So when you have a plan, things are kind of very simple and stress free. So you see how the level has been broken. So those who trade this thing, gold is pushing hard. So this is what I'm talking about. So price came to the level exactly. Price came to the level exactly. So this is the level I'm expecting to execute on. So I move to the lower time frame. So we are waiting for price. So you see what happened yesterday. That's why I always say that you have to go back to your trace. Okay, that is what is going to bring you. That is what is going to bring the confidence. Okay, that's what is going to bring the confidence. So price, I'm expecting price to come back to this level before I will execute. Like how it came to the level. Okay, so you see, so this is where the first trade would have been taken. Okay, when it created this one over here, this is where the first trade would have been taken. And it just also made a pullback over here. It just made a pullback. So this is where the second one would be taken because price has come to my level. This level was taken from what? We got it from the H4 time frame. So this is where the second entry would have been. I will get the second entry because the first one just made a massive pullback over here. What time was it? So it was, we were approaching the New York's exchange session. So you see, nice one. So if you wait patiently for price to come to those levels, that's my I will just have time and just do how I trade gold, and it works best. It works perfectly well. Okay, the way I trade gold, even though I don't get trades like how people scalp do, but within a week I can get like two trades on gold. Okay, I can get like two trades on gold, which mostly hits target. One thing, if you're analyzing gold, one thing you can implement it in your trading system is what? Gold really respects the H4 support and resistance level. That's the secret. That's my secret. The higher time frame, the weekly, daily H4. So those who are saying gold does not respect levels, gold does not respect levels, is because you are focusing on the internal structures or the internal levels. Gold really respects the H4. It's something that's it's proven. You can just start testing it yourself. It really respects the H4 time frame, daily time frame, weekly, monthly time frame levels. Focus on those levels. Or I don't know which levels people use, psychological levels and those stuff. But from my experience, gold really respects the H4 support and resistance, the daily support and resistance, the weekly support and resistance. Gold fear those levels. If gold does not fear your levels, that means you are using the lower time frames. So when it comes to the time frames, you need to focus on the higher time frame like the H4, the weekly, and the daily time frame levels. It really respects those levels. So this is not level for me. It's really respect them. H1, I've not dive into H1 levels, but when it comes to the H4 is what I mostly focus on. So if you can see all the trades that I take them from the H4. So this one was taken from the H4. This one was taken from the H4. Most of the trades that I take on gold, there was another trade over here. It was on the H4 levels. So I don't focus on the H1, okay, but you can try it yourself. I mostly focus on it on the H4 level. So there was a trade. You see H4 over here. Like it's not a joke. It's really, really respect. That's how I trade gold. Okay. But as I'm saying, you are not going to be getting it more often. And gold is moving. Okay. And are you going to be patient or that patient to wait for those times? People, it's not about the strategy, it's about the person who is trading the strategy. You are not going to be patient to wait for those levels. And I mostly those are the levels that I executed. So this analysis that I'm talking about on NAS 100 what happened on the higher time frame, which is the H4 time frame levels. Okay, you see, it's mostly H4 daily, weekly. Those levels, don't play with it. Forget about those psychological levels. These are the levels. Okay, these are the levels I mostly execute on. So you see, this one was on the H4 level. So those are my high time frame levels. So it's the same thing I used to trade on gold. Okay, so as I'm saying, either price will come to this level. Okay, either price will come to this level, then I'll look for an entry. But when it comes to those levels too, I don't execute it immediately. I wait for confirmation. This candle needs to close over here before I will execute. Okay, this candle needs to close over here before I will execute, or you will get something like this. And I've traded my system for long, so I'm now very calm. Okay, I'm now very calm because I know by all means it's going to give an opportunity. It's going to give an opportunity. So I'm very calm and I know exactly what I'm like. I've pictured everything. Okay, everything I've pictured it. So I know exactly what I'm waiting for. So I don't rush into trades anymore. I don't feel FOMO anymore. Unless maybe it aligns with my system and I didn't execute. If it doesn't align with what I've seen it happening more often. So last week, like this, it was a great week for me. Last week was a great week. Most of the trades were like hitting take profit. If you check GBP USD over here, I think I was asking who took that trade. Where was it? GBP USD. This was a massive move over here. So you see the level I was talking about. So price came to the level, then but it filled the whole zone over here, gave more pips before retracing. So you see, as it got to this level again, it started bouncing back. Okay, it started bouncing back. So it's not about the system, it's about the person who is trading the system. That's the most important thing. And looking at last week too, NAS 100 also gave an opportunity. That was where there was a night. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this one too. Okay. This one too. And on Friday was on gold. So it's all about knowing what you are looking for. My trading system is very simple. I just look for the levels, wait for price to come and tap on those levels. Then I'll look for what lower time frame entries. So you see how it is being, how the levels are being invalidating. I don't mostly play with those levels. So if I feel for more, that's fine. That's what I'm waiting for. Okay, that's what I'm waiting for. So you can also try the H1, but I've not tried the H1 a lot. So you can also try it yourself and see if it's going to work for me. But for me, as I started, I've been dabbling on the H4 time frame, H4 time frame, H4 structure. H4 is what I use. H4 is my everything. Okay. When it comes to structures, when it comes to the levels, and the levels not only H4, I use the daily too. Sometimes I use the weekly when it happens, a weekly time frame too. I use it. But most often the H4 is what I play with. I don't play with the it takes time, but a lot of people can't be patient to wait for that long. Okay, a lot of people can't be patient to wait for that long. So just find a time frame that works. But for me, H4 works perfectly well for me. It takes time for things to get there. But if you are not patient, then I think you need to be looking for your lower time frame. That's fine. Okay, you need to be looking for your lower time frame. That's fine. I don't use psychological levels. I don't use Fibonacci. I use what is on the chart. Okay, what is on the chart, because I have experience of on my patterns, mostly the pattern that I trade. So those are the things that I always look for before I will execute. And I know for sure that before the month the week will end, there's going to be a perfect. That's what I learned this thing in a hard way. One thing I've noticed that if I rush to execute trades, I mostly do something that doesn't align with myself. But if I'm very calm and I'm saying I write my rules over on my distance. So all my rules, I've written all my rules on my distance on my laptop. Okay, I've written all my rules on my laptop. So if I watch my rules and doesn't fit as in the patterns that I'm looking for on the chart doesn't fit, what I'm going to be doing is what I'm not going to be. But if I'm calm, waiting for that particular thing, every week at least I will see one or two. That's what I've observed. Okay, that's why I always preach. I always preach. So those who have followed me for some time now, I always preach that have something like have a pattern. Okay, have a pattern that you are going to be trading. That's the best way. If you have pattern, you can see that you are going to be getting clarity. There's going to be a peace of mind. You are not going to be rushing things and those. At the initial stage, getting what to look for on a trade become very difficult. And it's very simple. Just look at your winning trades. What did you do that gave you that winning trade? And the same thing is going to be happening again. So just study it back and back to back, like you are going to write end of sem examination. Study the win, okay? Just study the win. So if for me, if I get a winning trade, all these trades that I'm talking about, even though I analyze it myself, by during the weekend, I went through these trades again. I watch it back to back. I watch it back to back. This trade, I watch it. Why did this one happen? Why did I even execute it on this one? Why did I even execute on this one? I was watching this. Why did I even execute on this one? I was watching this one back to back. I watch it like 1 to 2 hours watching it, back testing. So that is what is going to bring the confidence. But if you are there and you are saying everything is going to come, you are just going to trade based on plan. You need to do a lot of work. Okay. So my system was derived, or I got my system from watching my winning trades, watching my winning trades, watching my winning trades. I noticed that this pattern mostly repeats itself. These are the common patterns that mostly repeat itself. And I started executing in those now. So most of the things are self-taught. Most of the things are self-taught. Just observe. That's why I always say that the chart is going to show you a lot of things that your mentor is not even going to show you. So have time for the chart. Okay. Have time and study the moves. If you study the moves, if you predict and it goes in your favor, just watch. Why did it ask yourself, why did this thing happen? Why did this thing happen? Why did you keep on asking yourself why? Keep on asking yourself why? You see that with time, give yourself like a year. With a year, you see that things are those same thing is going to be happening, because the market does not do any other thing than to move up and down, up and down, up and down. And one thing you need to understand is when price is coming down, the pattern that mostly or how price moves to the down are going to repeat itself again. The correction, it's either price, the correction is either going to be maybe complex correction, okay, or it's either going to be something like this. It repeats itself. So just get hold of one particular thing and steady it, okay. Just get hold of one particular thing, one particular move and steady it. So as I'm saying, I'm waiting for gold to come to this level, create a support over here, maybe during the New York Stock Exchange. So you see what happened over here. You see this pattern. This is what I'm expecting it to. I'm expecting it on gold. You see this pattern over here. So if it comes here, create a support, then I will look for a buy. Okay. Or maybe we can get a break. So my system are in two folds. So it's either breaking out, breakout or a pullback. Okay, it's either a breakout or a pullback. So at this point, price is making a pullback. So when it comes to the pullback, what are the things that I mostly look for? Okay, what are the things? So those who are watching, You see how H1 got invalidated, how price broke the H1 level. So let's keep on observing and see if price gets to the H4, see how it's going to react on those levels. Okay, when it gets to the H4, you will notice how price is going to bounce back. It's mostly respect. That's what I've noticed. So I will do a special lesson for trading gold from my experience and how what works good for me. So if I'm trading on those levels, I'm very confident and I'm very I'm very bold executing on those levels. That's what I've noticed. Yeah, so it's all about it was all coming from my personal observation. I have a lot of time watching the chart. So every day I watch it 247. I'm watching the chart. So I have a lot of experience on that. That's what I'm waiting for. Good. I'm waiting for price to come to this level. Okay. So if this one fails, then the next one is going to be here. Before I'll be looking for a sell. Okay. Unless the trend shifts, unless maybe we see something like this, unless we see something like this. So when the candle breaks and close below this one, okay, then I'll be looking for a sell. But at this point, I'm still in a buy. I'm still looking. Hey, so let me explain this thing to you. So you see, those who are in my Telegram group, I mostly do weekly market outlook. I mostly do some lessons on weekends, on Sunday, most often. So you see why I told you guys on last Sunday, I told you that we can get an intraday. So what did I even see? So this was on Sunday, right? Was it? Where is it? Yeah, it was over here. Let me break it down for you people to see. So this was what I was talking about. So you see price got over here. So this was the level. This was the level. So I told you that price is going to fill this zone. Okay. What did I why and I gave you an entry. So if you have not watched the webinar, you can go to YouTube. Yeah, I've posted it over here. You can watch it. I talk about it. I spoke about it. So let me go to YouTube and see. Let me show it to you. Let me show it to you. Let me move to my channel. So if you have not watched this video, you can go back and watch it. Okay, I talk about this one. This where I talk about gold. Yeah. So you see where I spoke about it. Uh, because, yeah. So this is where I talk about. So I hope you people are seeing it. So this is where I talk about. This is where I talk about the buy. So this is where I talk about the buy. You get it. So that's where I talk about the buy. And let's see, it played out. So this was the buy that I was talking about. I even said that if you were to be in an active market session, I would have executed a buy over here. Okay. But because the market wasn't active by then, I guess so when the market open, it just moves straight. You get it. When the market open, it just moves straight. You You see, as price go to the level that I've been talking about, you see what happened? As price go to the level and just move straight. So imagine if I bought over here, this would have been a plenty money. This would have been plenty money. So as I'm saying, if you don't pick anything this morning, I've given you the levels that I mostly buy and sell on gold. Okay, those are the levels that I mostly buy and sell on gold. So take note of that. Okay, and your losses are going to reduce if you focus on that. Your losses are going to reduce. So we're having a lot of systems and strategies when it comes to this market. So just be focused. Okay, if you are everywhere, mostly you are not going to get to anywhere. If you are everywhere, you are not going to get to anywhere. So if you have any questions, please kindly drop into the chat box. I'm the best to answer your questions. Okay. If you have any question, kindly drop it in the chat box. I'll answer your questions. Yeah, so go. That's what I'm expecting. Okay, so I'm expecting it to come to this level. Or what? One thing you need to understand is what if it doesn't come to this level, it can create a new support. Okay, it can create a new support. It can create a new support over here. So that's what you need to understand too as well. It can create a new support. Then I'll execute based on that. You get it? I'll execute based on that. So it can create a new support and I'll execute based on that. So it can come over here or it will create another support, additional support, then I'll execute based on that. So that's what I'm expecting. So and I'm just looking forward for gold to give me an opportunity, then I'll execute. So GBP USD2 is also looking good. You are waiting for price to come to this level, then I will execute on GBP USD. So on top of my watch list is GBP USD, which is given the setup is kind of approaching now, but USD card is just ranging. There's no setup on it. So I'm looking forward to execute on GBP USD to come to this level. Okay. And gold, I'm watching gold too. So that's it. Those are the things that I'm looking forward to execute. If you have any question, kindly drop it in the chat box. If there's no question, I will try and I have to start dropping maybe uh, some analysis or signals too as well. One thing that made me stop that signal thing is what a lot of people don't even know how to execute. So if you tell them to buy, oh maybe break even, they will still be in a trade and they are going to lose. So even if a trade is a break-even trade, it will be a losing trade for some people. That's what I've noticed. Okay, so if there's no question, I'll end the stream over here. So thank you all for being part of this stream today. And I know I've given you a very important information on gold. Okay, very important information on gold, so you can implement it in your trading system or your trading style. So see you. We have other things to focus on for the day. Have a profitable trading day as well. See you next time. Bye.